It has been a long, long summer of watching these teams talk about how their team is great at shooting, talk about how they have so much talent. But the first official practices are officially here, and we got an inside look at one of the better teams in the country that, I've talked about on the channel here with Greg saying that, I think that Duke's kind of become undervalued a little bit and how, people view this team and where they have them in the preseason ranks. But we got a pretty good video of them on the first day of practice. And I got my good dog with me, Ryan Hammer, here. And I want to talk about some of the things that we saw from that video. Now, very short video. Obviously, got all the hits on the social media team for the first day of practice. We got John Shire coaching the team up. We got the team in the huddle doing some good things. We also got some pretty good video footage in here with plays from Isaiah Evans, plays from Big Pat as well. So Ryan, I'll throw it to you for maybe your first initial thoughts and reactions to some of the things you were able to see from the players in this, or maybe some things that stuck out to you in this very short video.
Well, I like what you said about like everyone's talking themselves up before the season. Everybody going into the season is excited. They think their team's ready they however they phrase it, we're gonna do some things this year. You know,
Yeah,
we're gonna do some things for sure. Everyone's gonna do something. Everyone's gonna do something. And everybody, when the practice clips start coming out, everyone looks like the best team in the country. Every shot's falling in practice clips. When
hmm,
you see a minute and a half of Duke clips, every shot's going in. Like, they might be the best team in the country.
right.
But so could Mississippi Valley State if they put out a practice clip. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, that being said, Duke is very good. I do agree that they're underrated, like you said. Biggest thing I noticed was just like how smooth they are. And again, this is a practice clip. I think that's the I'm a victim of that, but um, they look so smooth all around. Like 10 different guys that kind of re-solidifies the thought of like they're going to be super deep, deeper than 99% of the teams are going to play and able to play 10 to 12 guys better than the majority of everyone else's second unit. That and I think Isaiah Evans also. Isaiah Evans being like a vocal leader, acting like a vet that he needs to be, and that they kind of need him to be if he's going to be their best or number two scorer or something. I think that's a huge piece for him being on the floor more this year. So I love that.
Yeah, I think Isaiah Evans too. This summer, just following along with like Duke chatter and Duke videos, it's been a lot of Sebastian Wilkins. It's been a lot of Dame Sarr, and it kind of seemed like Isaiah Evans went by the wayside a little bit in kind of the video footage that was put out. But seeing him take somewhat of a leadership role, you see him talking in the huddle in this video. He is a player that is a multi-year guy. Only, I mean, obviously second year, but a player that has been through it. Caleb Foster, another player that's been through it as well, but they are Duke through and through and how they kind of operate. And then, when I watch videos like this, obviously, when you watch practice clips, they don't show misses. If someone wants to find me a practice clip out there where they're showing misses, I would love to see it. And usually, if they show misses, it's because somebody rebounded it and scored it after that. But when you watch this Duke team, I always come away realizing that, to your point, they're so deep. They're so deep. Like the options they have on the wing with Kamenia, Dame Sarr, Sebastian Wilkins, and then you look to, kind of what they could do in the backcourt, even seeing some stuff from guys like Darren Harris, who I was very high on when he
Hmm.
came in last year. Very interested to see what his role looks like with this team. Caleb Foster, and then obviously at the end here, the Boozer brothers are part of this as well. And John Shire has this at the helm. It's just you have such a well-balanced team, I think. And then you surround that with a star player in Cam Boozer. I guess I want to get your thoughts on this. You see a little bit of Pat Ngangba in this. You also kind of had this little log jam, it seems like, at the wing guard position.
Yeah.
Do you take anything as far as like where or how, kind of how that plays out early on? Because it does seem like they have some options there.
Dion, how's your job going?
Beginning of the school year, everything's like a little up and down. One of the biggest issues we've had is we can't find any uniforms for our girls' sports teams.
Mm, that's a difficult thing to find a solution for. I know damn well all about that because I got a daughter that just turned 2. She's into sports and she's already outgrowing every little piece of sports apparel she had. Thankfully, I know Clara Kate Creations. Clara Kate Creations was started by a former high school teacher who quit because it wasn't cost effective to send new twins and a 2-year-old to daycare. She found it easier to make girls' sports apparel than finding it to buy. And I am so thankful that she exists because if we have an old shirt of Murph's that she's outgrown, we can send it in and she takes that piece of apparel that means something and upcycles it into an outfit that Murphy can now wear as she grows up. She makes great stuff. It's honestly kind of like your fullback's wife, Kyle Juszczyk. Is that how you say it? She does that, but honestly, I think Clara Kate's coming for Mrs. Juszczyk's job.
I love that. I'm a big Juice guy. Love his wife. Love Claire Kate even more than both of them, though.
You can send in your own custom ideas and she will come up with a design. She's just the best. Look up Clara Kate Creations on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and more.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I was thinking that I rewatched it again to prepare for this, and I was like, we've seen it a million times, but there's I think in the middle of the clip, like right in the middle, there's like has a bucket and a play. Kamenya has a nice dime, then Sar scores, and then Isaiah after that, or something like that in that order. And I'm like, that's too many guys that play the similar position. Like you're totally right, and it's a good problem to have. I think John Shire figures that out, and I think the guys know that outside of Cam and Isaiah, who are like they have their roles kind of solidified, at least in the beginning of the season. I think the guys coming in kind of know that. Sar, I think, was a later commit, right? Like he knows that they know that there's great players. There's Duke also. There's always going to be great options, but Shire will figure it out in the rotation. I think it's a good problem to have. And I don't think Shire's one to have like a super short leash either, where he says, like, say he throws like Sar in there at the starting lineup, he plays 25 minutes a game and he's playing awful. I don't think he's just going to yank him out and put him to 8 minutes a game in the next day or the 2 days later. Like it's not that simple. So it'll be interesting to see if they do go through some rough kinks there and shake it up. That being said, it feels like they're always going to be well put together early on in the season because that's the culture. It's a brotherhood. They have options. Obviously, it's really high quality and like run like a tight ship. So I want to say they play like Kansas earlier in the season. Kansas is probably going to be scrambling earlier on more than Duke is. So like that's a good game for them to have, especially as Kansas gets better later in the year. But I don't know. I'm not really sure. Honestly, I think it's a good problem to have. I could see it being a little bit of an issue with like who to play and a little bit of a debate and even internally what kind of lineups do they go with later in games and in certain situations. But I'm yet TBD, I guess I'll say. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. And also, like, I think you brought up a great point. Like, even last year with Duke's team, the talent they had, we saw early on in the season, like, it got down to like winning time some games, and they kind of had like a little chicken with their head cut off situation going on. Like, they really didn't know what to exactly do kind of down the stretch and what to do on that last kind of possession. So I do think there's some things to figure out. I will say this, like, I'm a believer in John Shire and what he can do and figuring it out. And it's just, I think he's on his way to being one of the better coaches in the sport. It's just about how fast and how quickly he gets there. But obviously he's done a lot early on in his Duke career, and he's been a part of that Duke staff even when Coach K was there. So definitely a lot to take away from this first day of practice. And obviously I think it's going to be a really, really high level year for Duke. I think we should end the video with this. Obviously, this is I think more of an overreaction video than a reaction video, but I don't think I've asked you this or had the ability to ask you this, so I do want to do it. Who's your day one Duke starting lineup? Because there are a lot of options here.
Uh
Now I feel like you could pencil in Cam, right? Pencil in Isaiah
Cam
Evans, but like
Cam
what's
and Pat will
around
be
them?
Cam Pat will be the 4-5. I
Hmm.
and Isaiah will be the two. I think day one Foster starts the one, and then they probably go Sar the three is my guess.
Hmm.
But man, I'm telling you, man, Caden Boozer, there's something about that brother right there.
Yeah.
I think by the end of the year he's going to be the starting one, and I don't think that's a problem for Caleb Foster. I just think it's different roles and ceilings and abilities, but that's kind of where I'm at. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the day one lineup. The one I keep hearing things about Kameni, and then obviously Sebastian Wilkins has had a good summer as well. So that three spot's gonna be one to look at. But I do think Dame Sarr will probably get the nod there, and then they're just gonna have trouble keeping Caden Boozer off the floor. Like
That's what I'm saying, and
gonna do too
it's
many
a great
things that
problem.
contribute to winning.
He raises their ceiling so much more than Caleb Foster, especially on the offensive end. So I feel like at some point they're going to be like, we have to play him 30 minutes a game. We have no choice.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good year for Duke basketball. Keep the footage coming. We need it out here. The college basketball fans love watching it. But yeah, it was a fun video.